Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 classic Looney Tunes shorts and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Buddy Steps Out, released in 1935. It's the 109th of the series and it's directed by Jack King. As you'll soon see in this review, there's no official release for this one. This would have been taped off of TV, I think, from Nickelodeon or something like that, and I've Frankenstein together something that resembles a decent file, but yeah, this one definitely needs a restoration. Although after watching this review, you'll be like, yeah, leave this one to be one of the last because it's nothing truly special. But in any case, if you haven't seen this one, it is under copyright. Can't show you the full thing here on YouTube unless Warner Brothers themselves choose to upload it, and why would they? I don't know, but anyway, the ball is in their court in that regard anyway. But all it is that Cookie is going out with Buddy for the night, and when they leave, Buddy's photo of himself starts to come to life and things start coming to life, and that's pretty much it. There's really nothing to this one. In fact, this is probably one of the most dullest shorts I've ever seen, and I'll go through why in just a moment. But there's two bits of info I just want to go through before we actually start this review. This is the second last Buddy short, thank goodness for that, and this is the final Cookie short, and given the amount of times that she's changed her appearance throughout the shorts, I don't think the creators even had any idea of who she's supposed to be. But whatever, this is her second last appearance. And if you look at the credits, so you've got Bob Clampett, and you see Chaz Jones, and I believe that's Chuck Jones using a different name, which is really weird. I believe at the time there was a mandate you had to use your own name, hence why he was credited as Charles Jones or Charles M. Jones for the longest time until the 1950s, where he finally changed it to Chuck Jones, which is what he used for the rest of his life. But why Chaz? Don't know. But honestly, that's probably the most interesting thing about this short. So yeah, let's go through it from start to finish as to why this is one of the dullest shorts, not just out of the Buddy shorts, but just in Looney Tunes history, period. But don't think that I'm just going to be negative throughout this entire short or anything like that, because that will make it pretty dull unless I was really angry, like, I don't know, the Angry Video Game Nerd or someone like that, which I'll never do. But the song that you hear prominently throughout this short is called About 9:15, and that's a very popular song from 1935 by Al Dubin and Harry Warren. And if you've seen the movie Go Into Your Dance, which is another name that might sound very familiar to a lot of you, given that it was a Merry Melody short as well, that was fairly recent. Go check out that review if you haven't already. And the song in the film is actually introduced by Al Jolson. And from what I'm reading here, and I'm not going to go too in-depth in regards to the song, but there's been quite a few covers of this particular song, and it's quite catchy. And again, it's probably the highlight of this otherwise very dull short.
About 9:15. Twinkle and shine this evening. About 9:15.
Now, when we think of restoration when it comes to these animated shorts, we usually think of the image, but this one, oof, the audio definitely needs a cleanup, and a lot of it's very, very brutal to hear. So, apologies for that. This was the best I was able to do. Now, the only voice Keith Scott, who the author of the wonderful Cartoon Voices book, was able to identify here is Bernice Hansel doing the voice of Cookie, and she's had various different voice actresses, some identified, some not. So once again, it was never really very consistent. I'll admit, though, I do like what Buddy's dressed up in. Unlike being a little boy in some of these ones, here he's become a man. So anyway, the two of them go out in a scene that takes a little bit longer than perhaps it should have, but anyway, and once they go out, the bird escapes, even though the cage isn't open. It's not a particularly effective cage, but anyway. So the bird ends up flying out the window, and again, you've got to wonder why she left the window open if there's going to be a storm, but then again, she probably just forgot. And we see an autographed picture of Buddy, and definitely remember that detail. So the bird flies out, and the storm goes on and off. It's very riveting stuff, isn't it? So now we go back to that photo of Buddy. I mean, first of all, Does this imply that Buddy's a major movie star now or something because he's given an autographed photo of himself? But anyway, okay. I don't want to overthink it, even though I clearly am, but anyway. But I did notice a theme here with what Jack King was doing recently. So in Buddy's Bug Hunt is a similar idea where Buddy, through the use of ether, I do get into that in that review if you haven't checked it out already, he ends up shrinking down to the size of bugs, and there seems to be this thing where Jack King likes to explore differences in size. And there's another one where Buddy goes to a prehistoric island where you've got these big dinosaurs. So again, he's playing with scale and size. So this just seems like a natural extension of what he was already doing. I just wish it wasn't so dull. But this short definitely reminds me of those earlier harmonizing shorts, the whole things coming to life shorts. Maybe that's why this feels kind of dull. It feels also dated for this particular time period. But anyway, we see Atlas come alive, and yes, that's Atlas holding the world, closing that window, leaving that poor bird trapped outside, and presumably it's going to die. So Atlas comes alive, and now we're going to see things coming to life in this short. Okay, the bird's not dead, okay, so the bird tries to come back in, but now the window is closed, and Buddy, who thought he was going to now relax back in that photo, weird, but anyway, now sees that this poor bird wants to come back inside. Again, it's very exciting, isn't it? So Buddy calls Atlas once again saying, "Atlas, old boy, help me with this window." And he says it quite a few times before Atlas actually does it. And he brings the bird inside, who's now frozen solid. So in what feels like forever, Buddy takes this bird all the way to the other side of the room, and he ends up putting him into this bowl, which he heats up, and now this bird's got a cold. So we're already halfway through this short, and nothing really exciting has happened. The actual idea here isn't a bad one, where the owners go out and you can have these things coming to life doing some shenanigans, like a miniature version of Buddy or whatever. Maybe make it that the real Buddy and Cookie are a couple, but the pretend ones are not, or something along those lines. You can go quite a few ways with this, but here it's just one dull thing about this bird leaving and the window being closed, then the window having to be open again because the bird's got to come back in, and we're now having to unfreeze this bird. It's riveting stuff. And yeah, even though this bird nearly died, Buddy still has this big grin on his face saying, "Blow your nosy."
Blow your nosy. Attaboy.
Talk about being tone deaf. But that's okay, the bird's happy, kisses Buddy, flies around and goes to the radio where we see the next bit of time-wasting stuff that happens. And we hear an instrumental version of about 8:45, and again, the short may be dull, but there are a few good things in it. I mentioned the song already, and then there is this little dance number that Buddy does. I wonder if Chuck Jones animated that. It kind of looks like something that he would do. I mean, I could be wrong, and yes, I'm just guessing, so let me know what you think about that. But animation-wise, I'd say that's the highlight of this short. And then for some reason, the Joker pops out of a deck of playing cards and starts dancing as well. Again, the animation's good, but the short's nearly done, and next to nothing has happened here. So again, can you guys see now why I think this one's incredibly dull? Despite the fact that, yes, it got some very technically accomplished animation, at least for the time period. And now we go to some soup cans. It says Gamble's tomato soup, which is a parody of Campbell's tomato soup, which is still around today, and we continue to hear the song. And look at that, we see some ham, and we see Porky Pig. No, I'm just kidding, maybe it's a distant relative or something. Reading a book that seems to say pig on it. Okay, sure. But that animation of the pig is incredibly crude. I mean, contrast that to the dancing animation we just saw before, so maybe they gave that bit to an up-and-coming animator just to practice. I don't know. And then we see this insect singing a different song for some weird reason, although the connection between About 8:45 and this one is Al Jolson, because they're singing Avalon, and one of the songwriters was Al Jolson, and that was a jazz standard, and it's been recorded by artists such as Cab Calloway just before the release of this short, so maybe that's why they did it. I don't know. And while I'm on topic about this, the opening melody of Avalon apparently sounds like the opening of Puccini's opera Tosca, but Puccini's publishers sued for use for melody, and they were actually awarded 25 grand and all royalties of the song by the court. So it'll be interesting. I wonder if Puccini's estate still gets royalties from the use of this song in this short. I highly doubt it.
On my way to Neverland, I love it.
So we then see a parody of Flint bug spray. Here it's Flick, and sure enough, I guess he's annoyed at this bug singing and decides to try and kill him. The bug's not quite dead though, so he puts Bubble Bath inside the actual water. And yeah, what does the bug sing now? I'm forever blowing bubbles, which would become a staple that Starling would use constantly all throughout his tenure at Warner Brothers in a few years. Oh no, we've got some plot development, but the short's nearly over, so I guess big deal, right? No, Buddy and Cookie are on their way home and they're saying, oh, I'm glad we're almost home. I mean, to be fair, that storm looks pretty bad. And this alarm clock looks pretty concerned, so it sounds the alarm for everyone to go back to their original places. I wonder if this was a precursor to Toy Story. Nah, not really. Now, Jack King was known for his dramatic angles, and this short has absolutely none of them except for one shot, and that's with Buddy using the key to open the door. Although I thought this was Cookie's house, but anyway, whatever. But yeah, it's interesting that he starts off doing all these crazy angles and stuff that actually makes those shorts look interesting, even if they're not perhaps the greatest. And by this point, what, is he sick of doing them? Or is he that uninspired? I don't know. But yeah, we finally get one shot in the directing style that he's known for. Now, this is probably just me, but that close-up shot of Buddy kissing Cookie on the hand as we never see her ever again in the golden age of Looney Tunes, but that close-up of his face just looks very creepy. I don't know, there's just something about it. It's like a doll come to life. Again, is this maybe Chuck Jones doing this? I don't know, but yeah, it looks very creepy to me. But as we see Cookie for one last time, she sees his photo and starts kissing him. I mean, he was right there. If you love him so much, invite him in. Whatever. I'm overthinking it once again. So it looks like that picture is the one that's going to get all the action as he winks at the camera and we're done. So yeah, bye-bye Cookie. But my goodness, this was just painfully dull. And the only highlights here, as I mentioned, is the use of the song, similar to what they would have done with the Merry Melody short. And some of the dance animation is genuinely good, but there's really nothing that happens here. You just got the bird that accidentally flies outside and tries to get back in and is unfrozen. We see some dancing, a few bits of shenanigans, which is not even that special. Buddy and Cookie come home, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, this one's like 3 out of 10. It's incredibly dull. It's actually one of the lesser Buddy shorts, and most of them are lesser, but this one's especially dull. So yeah, one more to go, and I've finally covered all the Buddy shorts in in-depth reviews. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and until next time, take care.